Thank you, Brenda. That was gloriously beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. My name is Reverend Renee, and I am grateful and lucky to be your minister and music director. Unitarian Universalism is a tradition open to all people, whether religious or non-religious. We UUs have 7 core values at the heart of our beliefs: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, and love. Love is the most important, and it is at the center of what we UUs do. We respect our connection to each other and to all of life and to the precious universe of which we are but a tiny part. We welcome you and your cell phones, whoever you are at this moment, and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. For those of you joining us online, welcome. We love our Facebook congregants and visitors. We're so happy to see you. Welcome home. We would like to encourage, of course, you to hang out afterwards and enjoy some Unitarian coffee, because every Unitarian church delights in the coffee. Members, I would ask that you greet our newcomers and make them feel welcome. If you're new to UU, and if you are not new, please check out our website at uufayetteville.org for more information about us. Later in our service, we will have a time where you're invited to come forward and drop a stone symbolizing your joy, concern, or milestone into our bowl of water. If you have a joy or concern you'd like to share, we invite you to fill out one of those yellow cards that you'll find in the seat back in front of you. And there's a place to indicate whether you want that shared aloud to the congregation or not, if you just want it to be for the leadership and I. Do bring that forward during joys and concerns. If you need hearing assistance, our wonderful AV tech, David, can help you with that. Children are always welcome in our service, but there is a staffed nursery downstairs if you prefer. Please remember to silence your cell phones as we enter into our service. Now, I want to tell you, we all know that our world has suffered the past day or so, I mean, for forever, and specifically, our Unitarian Universalist Association reiterates, this is a press release, I'd like to read it to you, a longstanding condemnation of U.S. military action against Iran. This was put out yesterday, 28th. This morning, the United States, in coordination with the State of Israel, launched military attacks against Iran. According to news reports, the U.S. will undertake more military actions over the next several days. The UUA has long opposed any intervention into Iran by the U.S. military and supported the pursuit of diplomatic resolutions in the region that protect innocent life and global human rights. So there's more, but it gets very, very detailed. So at the end it says, we do so again this morning, reiterate. And every day these armed attacks continue, we will continue to reiterate this. We and our member congregations will continue to work for a world where the shared values of pluralism and interdependence are realized, and where the inherent dignity and worthiness of all people are upheld. I would like, please, to have a reading together. I'm going to read the regular print, and you're going to read the italics, okay? Okay. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied to a single garment of destiny.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
There are some things in our social system to which all of us ought to be maladjusted.
Hatred and bitterness can never cure the disease of fear. Only love can do that.
We must evolve for all human conflict a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation.
The foundation of such a method is love.
Before it is too late, we must narrow the gaping chasm between our proclamations of peace and our lowly deeds which precipitate and perpetuate war.
One day we must come to see that peace is not merely a distant goal we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal.
We must pursue peaceful ends through peaceful means.
We shall hew out of the mountains of despair a stone of hope.
I know it's complicated. I know there's lots of different feelings. And I'm glad we're here together to talk about it. Okay, Brooke is going to light our chalice, and then we're going to have opening words by our marvelous guest speaker, Solomon Burchfield, the Executive Director of New Beginnings.
Good morning, friends. As I light the chalice, please join me in reciting the words above, and it's also in your order of service. Love is the spirit, is the unity, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and truth, and to love one another. Thus we covenant together.
Good morning. My name is Solomon Burchfield. I help lead the New Beginnings community here in Fayetteville. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning, people who are committed to love and to justice. Later, when I return to the mic, I'm going to be talking about home and our neighbors in Fayetteville who need homes. And to change the narrative on homelessness, I think we need to be listening to people who've experienced homelessness themselves. So I'm going to begin today with a poem written by Josh Kidwell, a young man here in Fayetteville who gave me this poem he wrote on notepaper when he was coming to our event. December 21st, every year we hold a Homeless Memorial Day and remember the lives of people who've passed in our community who are homeless. And Josh read this poem at last year's Homeless Memorial Day. It's called Sticks and Stones. Sticks and stones. For sure you've got to be lost to find what can't be found. And being lost really means that home is nowhere around. So tell me what it means when it's home that can't be found. When you can't even find a little rest on the streets of your own hometown. The saying goes, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. But the sticks and stones from my broken home have torn my heart and burned me. If you've never yearned so much it burns for a home that tells you you're not worthy, then you haven't earned the right to vagrant concerns or to even say you heard me. You see us with our cardboard signs on our knees on busy streets and think, don't look them in the eye. It's their fault they couldn't make ends meet. But you don't see what happens here. Whole communities with hearts and with dreams. Some just hope that someone's there to clean up our bodies when we freeze. So go on home to your sticks and stones. Go on to work to make your rent. And do your best to convince yourself that your money is better spent. Or stay comfortable in your delusion that our lives aren't worth a cent, And never think, if I can't afford to pay to exist, maybe I'll be living in a tent. Joshua Kidwell.
Thank you. Whew. Our opening hymn this morning is, well, it's titled Joy in the Morning. Sometimes it's hard to find joy. We sang this song last week, and we will be singing it a few more times because my installation service on April 12th, we'll sing it that day. And so, I want everybody to know it. It's not in our regular hymnal, it's in our new hymnal. And so, if you would please, rise in body or spirit as you're able, and let's sing Joy in the Morning. Is the collective children. We find hope in our children. Hope in our children. Hope in our children. In our children we find hope. We find strength in each other. Strength in each other. Strength in each other. In each other we find strength. There is love all around us. Yes, love all around us. Yes, there is love all around us. There is love. That was gorgeous. You may be seated. In religious community, we share our joys and our triumphs, our sorrows and our broken places, and meaningful moments in our lives. Because love is what connects us, and love is made up of many different feelings and events. In this circle of care, we make space for the complexity of life. We offer a radical welcome to make this circle wider. The truth of human experience dictates that on any given day, each of us come to this table with hearts in different places. We love through interaction. And it's in our interactions that we come to know the world and our place in it. Our interactions and our gathering is super important. When we gather and when love is at the center of that gathering, and when the outcome of our gathering is joy, it's a fierce form of resistance. Fear and hate cannot thrive where love and joy are the norms. We Unitarian Universalists believe that it is in the gathering and in the brave task of sharing ourselves that creates and grows trust. That this is how we come not only to marvel at, but to engage in the depth and movement of the spirit of life, of the human experience, and of the interconnection of which we're a part. And so, we must create the space. And we are. If you, ding, if you have filled out a yellow joys and concerns card, you may bring it up and give it to me and drop a stone in the bowl of water by Brooke. And friends, if you don't want to turn in a joys or concerns card, you don't have to. You can just drop a stone in the water, because the ripples of our stones dropping connect with the ripples of other UU churches all over the world doing the same thing this morning. You may come forward up the center aisles and go back to your seats at the side aisles. I love that ritual, and I love getting to see all of you that come through and getting to have that tiny moment of connection. David. Would you please also drop some stones for our marginalized communities that are so afraid right now? Persians and others, of course. For our siblings torn apart by war, and for all those suffering quietly and in so much pain and anguish that we will never know. Let's drop some stones for the joys and concerns that we just couldn't share this morning. And knowing the way things are going, maybe a whole handful for the joys and concerns we might encounter until we are together again. Okay, a lot to contemplate today. Let's take 60 whole seconds as we hold this ritual in our hearts. Let's quiet our minds so that our hearts can speak. And we'll take that moment now. Quiet mind. Quiet mind. Just allow the stillness. Okay. It is a ritual on Sunday mornings in our fellowship that we take up an offering. It is good to remind ourselves from time to time that the offering is symbolic as well as practical. We know that it is through pledges that we build our budget and fund our yearly programs, pay our staff, finance the comfort and beauty of our building, and so much more. And we know that we could easily submit those pledges, checks or whatever. We could click the donate button at any convenient time, and of course that's fine. But this ritual of passing the plate on our Sunday service makes a community expression of thanks for the blessing of abundance, to visibly bring in the harvest at this most cherished hour of our week. Our offering says that the act of giving is as essential to our spiritual well-being as anything else we do here on a Sunday morning. And just as a note, the last Sunday of March, our offering will be given to New Beginnings. And so I wanted you to know that Solomon is speaking today because our calendars worked out that way, but we will be taking up an offering for New Beginnings at the end of the month. Our morning offering will now be given and received in the spirit of grateful fellowship.
Good morning. Good morning. I am bringing gratitude from the dozens and dozens of people who live at the New Beginnings neighborhood that you're looking at right here. The dozens and dozens of people who have moved out from New Beginnings into homes of their own or in our shared community. Thank you for being part of our journey. We like to say at New Beginnings that neighborhoods end homelessness. Neighborhoods, because neighborhoods have two things. One, shelter, like a place to get out of the elements, and then neighborhoods have people. So neighborhoods have homes, and neighborhoods have neighbors. And you can't just be a neighbor. I think you have to do. It's like a verb. Neighboring people is what creates a neighborhood. We aren't just neighbors because we live close. We're neighbors because we show up. And you have showed up. UU Fayetteville has been part of building New Beginnings, cooking food, bringing food, being part of our neighborhood. So I want to begin by saying thank you. We're grateful for living in community with you. Today, my goal, because I know this is a little unconventional, I don't have to preach out of a book or something. I can share with like-minded people today. I'd like for you to walk out today thinking, I have a clearer understanding of what is going on with homelessness in Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas. I get it a little bit more of why are so many people going through homelessness and what we can do about it together. I want to engage your head. And then I also want you to feel like you're drawing closer to being part of the work to create a community where everyone belongs. You deepen that commitment to live life together with everyone. And so I want to engage your heart as well. So we're going to kind of do I do some presentations. Sometimes we do like a whole half-day workshop. I get to teach classes at the university a couple times. So my challenge, sometimes I go on too long. So I'm going to go fast this morning. 20 minutes, 15. Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes. Let's start off talking about people who need homes by defining homelessness. This is the government definition. People who are living in a place that's not meant for human habitation. So that could include a vehicle, if I'm sleeping in the car, if I'm sleeping in an abandoned warehouse, if I'm sleeping in an emergency shelter, a place that's not meant for humans to just stay and live long term. That's how our government defines homelessness. It does leave some people out, that definition. Especially in the schools, we talk about families that are doubled up. You know, there's one family that's on the lease and then another family doesn't have a place to go, so they move in. The HUD does not count that as homeless. So just know, background, this is kind of the government definition. There's people that are going through a temporary situation of homelessness, and there's other people that have been homeless long term. So chronically homeless is a person that's experienced long-term homelessness. While struggling with a disabling condition of some kind. This is where New Beginnings focuses. People who may have physical health issues, mental illness is part of their life, behavior health complications is just part of why they have not been able to regain housing, and they kind of been trapped for years and years in chronic homelessness. So this is our definitions. Here's the headline. It's sad, but we know this. We're setting records. And not in a good way. Homelessness in the United States is at an all-time high. Every 2 years across the country, volunteers get together and survey in their own community how many people slept outside tonight or in a place not fit for human habitation. And we count on the same night of the year all across the country. So these numbers are from 2025. 771,000 people count as homeless. And this is up 18% from the count we did 2 years before that. This is the highest number we've ever counted in the United States. And 18% is the fastest increase that we've ever seen since starting the count back in 2007. So that's the headline. U.S. homelessness is at an all-time high. This is a crisis in our communities. Affordable housing and homelessness is a crisis in Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas. How do we respond? This picture kind of depicts the homeless response system. So it's not like we respond to all homelessness with like one program, one intervention, one organization. There's really got to be a system that's a homeless response so that we're meeting different people in different circumstances to help prevent their homelessness and end their homelessness. So starting at the top, outreach. Outreach is the work that we do when we go out on the streets or out into the camps. Maybe I'm giving away batteries or hot hands and I'm saying, hey, do you know about a place do you want to give a try going into a shelter? Are you looking for a home? I've got some resources. Do you have income that we could use to get you in a home? Outreach is that part of the homeless response system. The next part is prevention. This is actually the best dollar that we spend in the homeless care system. Preventing someone's homelessness, somebody that's in a home but behind on rent, facing eviction, behind on a utility bill. Helping that family keep their home is by far the most efficient dollar that we spend. In Northwest Arkansas, there's almost zero grant dollars in homeless prevention. So each of these components receives a small government funding. Most of the prevention services is done through congregations. Like when people come up and say, I'm behind on rent, I can't pay my electric bill, and a congregation helps. In Northwest Arkansas, that's where most of the prevention work is done. Not a good thing. We need more. Down here is emergency shelter or interim shelter. So in Northwest Arkansas, we can think about Salvation Army, Seven Hills, New Beginnings. These are interim shelter programs where people can get off the streets, have a roof over their head, get some support. So we have some shelter services. But guess what? More than half of the people that we counted as homeless in Northwest Arkansas are unsheltered. More than half. So while there are some funds in creating emergency shelter, there's not near enough. The last two, rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing, these are what are called housing first program models. These are supported by evidence, peer reviewed all around the country. There are hundreds and thousands of programs that do rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing as part of the homeless response system. What that means is the rapid rehousing is short-term assistance for people that are able-bodied, able-minded, but hit some crisis in life, and that's why they've lost their home. And so they need maybe 3 or 6 months of help to get back into a home, get stable again, and then they're going to be fine. Permanent supportive housing is the same kind of thing, but for folks that need that assistance long-term. So especially people that have disabilities or relapse conditions, that are living on disability level income, it's not enough to just say we'll help for 3 months. They're just going to fall right back into homelessness. So permanent supportive housing is that best practice program that can stabilize people that have intense support needs and need ongoing support. So this is that system. In a country that's facing record high homelessness, this is how our response system is designed. Each region in the country has its own continuum of care, and that is an entity that supports collaboration among all the organizations. In Northwest Arkansas, there's 1.5 employees in the continuum of care. That's who supports all the other nonprofit organizations like New Beginnings, Seven Hills, Salvation Army, the Way Station, the VA programs, the domestic violence shelters. Help all of us collaborate together as one homeless response system. Okay? Let's zero in. These are our neighbors right here in Northwest Arkansas, and this is the data, so we kind of understand what's going on in our own community. I'm starting over here on the left, and I don't want to leave these folks out. Did you know that there are 16,000 families that are paying more than half of their income every month on their rent? 50% plus just to cover the rent. So Helena is a good example. She's a single mom, has 4 kids. She works at the hospital. She also takes cleaning jobs. She's working 2 jobs, supporting kids at home. She's paying more than half of her income on rent. And what that means is that to take care of her family, she's standing in line at food pantries. You know, she's going to the free health clinic to get health care. She's showing up at the backpack giveaway at the back to school drive, right? Because the housing costs are eating up so much of the family income that it is super stressful and just to keep their head above water. These are probably those families that are crowded, doubled up in the schools. 16,000 folks. Moving to the right, this is our count of how many people were literally homeless in Northwest Arkansas. It's 507 as of 2025. Within that group of 500 people, about 2/3 are going through one of those kind of short-term situations of homelessness, right? Able-bodied, able-minded, but a crisis happened and I lost my home. And then there's another 150 to 200, 177 we have there, of people that have been homeless for many years and have intense support needs. So this is kind of the story locally of people who are living on the edge, and then the group of people who've fallen off the edge into homelessness, and kind of understanding that it makes sense to think in three different groups of people. But the crisis of affordable housing and homelessness is connected. Housing is the primary driver in each of these situations. So usually when we talk about like what's causing homelessness, it's hard because there's not like one cause. And then we talk about solutions, and it's hard because there's not one solution, like one silver bullet that just fixes affordable housing and homelessness for everyone. Usually when we have conversations about what causes homelessness, if you ask somebody, oh my God, you don't have a home, what happened? They're going to tell you a story about one of these triggers. You know, someone lost a job, someone got divorced, someone went bankrupt, had a medical event, you know, onset of a mental health support need. These triggers, I don't think those are causes. I get why, you know, when I ask someone what happened, they're going to tell me about the precipitating event. But I don't think that's at the root cause of why are people left without a home. So I want to complicate it a little bit. I want to talk about some individual risk factors that contribute, and then some systemic causes. So let's complicate it just a little bit. On the individual side, we see higher rates of homelessness among people that have intergenerational poverty as part of their life story. We see higher homeless rates among people that have been through adverse childhood experiences, traumatic experiences that affect how we develop. People with disabilities, higher rates of homelessness, or with mental illness. Among black folks in America, 3 times higher homeless rate than the general population. Among Native Americans, 3 times higher homeless rate. So there's a history in our country that organizes homelessness deeper in certain communities. LGBTQ folks, especially youth, facing family rejection. Homelessness is really high among LGBTQ folks. These are individual risk factors. There's nothing about having a certain identity or face a certain life circumstance that means more folks should be homeless. But in our society, these are kind of risk factors. So let's talk about the root causes. At the root of why is there so much homelessness? Number one, there is a housing shortage in the United States. I don't know if you read the news around this. We're about 4 to 7 million homes short. So as people get older, as the population grows, the housing production has not kept up. So there's not enough homes, and it makes the price of those homes go up. And so locally, as we think about how do we get more to generate more homes, we need to have a conversation about that. The housing shortage and the housing costs. That connects to wages and costs of living. So in Northwest Arkansas, try to remember my stats correctly. In the last 5 years, the average rent or a typical rent has gone up by 50% in the last 5 years. And incomes in that same period have gone up 6%. That's why I say it doesn't take a math genius, right? If I'm working that job and my wages have gone up 6%, but then my rent has gone up 50%, the space between those two things creates this pressure. I need everything to go perfect. Throw me a curveball. When life throws me a curveball, I don't have the resources. I don't have the cushion to stay in my home. So the wages versus the cost of living and that disparity is a fundamental root cause. If we had living wages, that story would be different. If we were building housing to reach certain affordability price points, we wouldn't be facing that disparity. Health insurance failure. So the Affordable Care Act did change the story around access to health insurance in our country, but there's still about 30 million Americans that have no health insurance, still today. And even among those that do have health insurance, and we see this on a daily basis at New Beginnings, folks that have insurance, but there's gaps in it. You know, I'm trying to find a certain kind of therapist, and they don't take the Medicaid insurance in my community. Or how do I use transportation to get from point A to point B? These are challenges related to health insurance, and especially for chronic homelessness, where there's physical health and mental health support needs. This system, the failures in this system are a root cause of why we're seeing homelessness grow. And then lastly, systemic racism. So we can talk about that, and we can have a whole workshop on that, but just to focus in on the housing piece, you're familiar with redlining, one of those practices where the government backed banks that were going to loan out money, and they draw a red line around neighborhoods. So we'll do loans in this neighborhood for folks that, you know, with this identity, but we won't do loans in communities of color. And perhaps you know that one of the ways that families develop wealth is through home ownership. Intergenerational wealth builds up through home ownership. And so when you factor that in, you see the housing gap, the wealth gap for like black and white folks in America that is the same as that housing gap. So systemic racism is a root cause. Individuals in certain communities are at higher risk in our society, and what it means is when life throws us a curveball, one of these triggers happens, that's what knocks someone out of a home and into homelessness. Does that make sense? So it's a little more complicated than just one thing causes it, but these are the systems we need to address if we want to fix stuff. So policies and investments that reorganize life together is what can really end homelessness. So I want to come back to our picture. Here's, you know, Harriet, who's living on the edge. Our city, our county, our state, our country, we can develop affordable housing, social housing, permanently affordable housing that uses public financing. Not just housing that makes investors more and more money, but housing that meets a human need, just like libraries and hospitals and schools meet human needs. Developing affordable and social housing, and having a response system that can prevent, when people are on the edge and facing eviction, that they can get that help they need to stay in their home. That can solve it for these families. In the middle, folks that need a short-term program help, typically these are federally government-funded programs that provide the short-term housing with support. When we increase the funding for those programs, they are proven to work. People recover and stabilize in homes of their own. And lastly, for folks that have been chronically homeless, what we have found at New Beginnings is the federal government funding is so sparse. We do have a government grant from the federal government. And so people with disabilities, we do support out in the community. But we also decided we need to build our own. And so we took donations and we filed for grants here in the city of Fayetteville. All of you that pay taxes are part of helping fund one of these solutions. So we are developing neighborhoods where you have affordable homes with supports that come in and do weekly home visits. And then we're adding cottages for people to become and live as neighbors in the neighborhood. So we can prevent and end homelessness once we understand things and build the political power to change how funding helps take care of our community. All right, so yeah, this is New Beginnings. Just to kind of give you some brief updates, you all have been part of our journey, but we want to develop neighborhoods that end chronic homelessness. Here's our approach. Our first neighborhood is a place to stay, so folks getting off the street, you have a place to stay. It's a self-run community. It's low barrier. We support people that are active substance users. We support people that do sex work. We support people with mental health support needs that don't have support around them for that. Low barrier, come as you are, a neighborhood to get started. We also have a couple cabins in that neighborhood called A Place to Heal, and this is a partnership with our local hospital at Washington Regional. And it's a place for people that are homeless when they exit the hospital to come and stay as guests in the neighborhood for as long as their plan of care calls for. We have a nurse that leads that program, and she works with the doctors at Washington Regional to help people truly recuperate and recover after discharging, so they're not trying to do that in a tent or sleeping on the street. And then lastly, now we have a place to live. We have 13 people with disabilities that live in permanent homes that we support on a weekly basis, some throughout the community and some in our neighborhood that we're developing. Want to see some photos? Place to stay. So y'all have come out. Many of you have come out. This is our food line in the kitchen. My friend Jen, who's serving the food. This was a Thanksgiving feast. beautiful garden. Miss Susan is there tending to the garden. This is a bike repair day. We have everything that happens in our homes happens at New Beginnings. So we are doing haircuts. This is a nice, beautiful nighttime shot of what it looks like in a place to stay at the New Beginnings neighborhood. This is our Director of Support Services, Egypt Tramble, and she's supporting JoJo right there. So weekly sessions with our social worker helps people build a rehousing plan while they're staying at New Beginnings. That's a place to stay. A place to heal is just a few cabins in the neighborhood. It's not separate. It's integrated together. So this is our nurse, Miss Janet. These are interns. We love having interns. We've got nursing students, public health, OT, psychology. We have lots of interns from the U of A, part of Place to Heal. And then the doctors at Washington Regional volunteer their time for the guests in the neighborhood at Place to Stay. We served our 41st person last week in a Place to Stay. How about that? And then this is a place to live. So my friends Butch and Terry here. Some people move out from New Beginnings into homes of their own using other programs or just independently. But these are folks that live in homes that we continue to support them in. Very proud. Decades of homelessness. It doesn't have to be that way. So many chronically homeless folks live on a taxpayer-funded revolving door. From the street to the shelter to the jail to the street to the emergency room to the shelter to the street forever. And yet, if you interrupt that process with humanity and compassion and support, you see people thriving. So this is our little neighborhood that we own outright. We have 9 people living there now, and our vision is to double that and then add cottages for people that want to come be neighbors and live, pay rent, but be neighbors to people and build a community with people recovering from homelessness. Okay, and this is my last slide. If you want to help, Al wants you to help. Talk with Brooke. Lots of you cook food and bring meals out to come to New Beginnings. It's a lovely part of what we do. We'd love to have beautification. This spring is coming up. We're trying to get like pampas grass, like giant grasses to kind of beautify the place. If you want to like come and do some gardening with us, reach out through our Facebook. If you want to give financially, I appreciate hearing into this month. This is a hard year for grants. Our federal government has completely changed priorities. Our grant funding has been cut in half. This will be our hardest year on the financial side of things. And finally, I want you to think about how your congregation can join up with our organization and dozens of other congregations and nonprofits who are building this. It's called Common Good NWA. It includes churches, it includes mosques, it includes nonprofit organizations. We want to build a network, a coalition of people that want to change things in Northwest Arkansas, not just on housing, but on housing, and learn how to use our power. It's not enough to just have great ideas. We have to build the power to actually implement those ideas, to hold our government accountable to our values during election season and then after election season. So this is called broad-based community organizing. And it only happens if we all come together. A lot of the folks who are already using their power in our community are using organized money as a way to influence what happens. And what we want to do is build people power. We want to use the power of organized people in relationship with each other. So New Beginnings pays $2,000 a year to this effort. That's how much we believe in it. And there are dozens of other congregations where it's all kind of underground still. We don't have enough people to come above ground yet. But we want organizations, institutions, congregations to come together and create this coalition of community organizing that can help change the story on homelessness. So I invite you to think about becoming part of this regional coalition work as well. And when I end, as we close out today, in a couple minutes, I'll give you a metaphor I hope you'll take with you as you think about how we build collective power together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Solomon. I learned so much, and it's heartening to see what you do, and I'm so grateful for you and your organizations. And don't y'all just want to change the world? I kind of think we can help. I kind of think we can. Let's build a new way. If you would please arise as you are able in body or spirit. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. To be free, we are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy, we are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry, is our cry, is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. Beautiful. You may be seated.
Please join me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you.
Not many announcements today. That was my very first one. Go vote. Don't forget to vote. Hey, don't forget to vote. Solomon.
Okay, the reading I'm going to leave us with today reminds you that you and your congregation are one patch in a bigger quilt. I'm going to go back to, oh, we got it, just Jackson. The quilt you're looking at was made by a lady named Miss Ardith Wary. When we opened New Beginnings, she volunteered with her friends to make a quilt for every cabin. So she made 20 quilts, and each person got to have their own quilt. When they moved out into a home, they took the quilt with them. A beautiful metaphor. And with the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, I just thought this quilt would be a perfect way to leave our company today. Reverend Jackson, in a speech, I'm going to read a couple of excerpts. He said, "Our flag is red, white, and blue, but our nation is a rainbow. Red, yellow, brown, black, and white, and we're all precious in God's sight. America is not like a blanket, one piece of unbroken cloth, the same color, the same texture, the same size. America is more like a quilt. Many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes, all woven together and held together by a common thread. The white, the Hispanic, the black, the Arab, the Jew, the woman, the Native American, the small farmer, the business person, the environmentalist, the peace activist, the young, the old, the lesbian, the gay, the disabled make up the American quilt. All of us fit somewhere. Even in our fractured state, We all count. We all have proven we can survive without each other, but we have not proven that we can win and progress without each other. We must come together. We must share our burdens and our joys with each other. We must turn to each other and not on one another. We must use love to motivate and obligate ourselves to serve the human family. We must choose the human race over the nuclear race. Bury the weapons. Don't burn the people. We must move forward from the civil rights battleground and come to the economic common ground and move to the moral high ground. America is more like a quilt. Many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes, all woven together by a common thread. Thank you.
Blessings on your work, Solomon.